Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host, Mucky Hope, and we're here once again with the boys to bring you another Before the Snuff. And I'll start off with the handsome man on my right, as always. He may not be useful, but he's pretty useless to everyone. Please welcome Uselessfacts. How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm going well. I was thinking, I was like, who have you moved my camera? I don't know about a handsome man, but I'll take the compliment. Um, and yeah, good to be here once again.
Yeah, and as always, it's my GPS. He's my brunch buddy now. He's like my dad. He's pretty much everything that a father really is. Like, he hasn't taught me how to shave yet or how to play catch, but I'm sure he will one day just before I go to Sydney. But everyone, please welcome the amazing Australian Survivor memes.
Hey, good to be here. I probably need to shave, so I wouldn't be taking shaving lessons from me. But yeah, no, good to be here. Looking forward to the finale week, basically, of Survivor.
Yeah, well, I'd love to chat to you boys about that. Like, what do we think is actually going to happen? So obviously we've got the advertising is the finale week. There's with 3 episodes. We're going to go from 8 to 5. Is next week's episode just going to be like a 2-hour episode? Because from final 5 to final 3. I'll start off with you, Eustace. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think Australian Survivor is just showing the world how we like to have finals and then a grand final rather than in the US where they have playoffs and then the final is actually the last episode. So I think that's what's going to happen here. It also kind of teases an audience. They say, oh, it's the final. So they watch the Tuesday episode and then realize, oh, wait, there's another episode to come. So it might even just be a bit clickbaity. But yes, I definitely think we're going to get 3 episodes this week and 1 next Sunday.
Yeah. Well, Australian Survivor means we haven't had like a finale that's like 2 rounds, or I guess 3 rounds of Survivor. Normally our finale is just the final 3 or the final 4. You vote someone out, and then it's straight to final tribal council. Like, do you think it'll be a good move to do what they kind of do in US Survivor, which is where you have like the final 5, and then I guess final 4 like fire making or that elimination round, and then the final tribal council?
Whatever they do, they're gonna it's gonna be like jam packed into 4 days. They've got with 8 people left in 4 days, we're gonna have to have 5 people eliminated and then still have the final tribal, assuming it's the final 3. Who knows? Maybe it'll be something crazy like a final 4. Who knows? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I was just looking up before. It looks like there's 4 episodes like guaranteed, so there's going to have to be double tribals, or yeah, it could be a matter of like have the final 5 votes, and then straight away it's like instead of heading back to camp, it's like, oh, by the way, one more thing, and then it'll be either like some sort of challenge and then fire making challenge, or who knows. But yeah, I'm definitely just when we thought it couldn't get more fast paced, I guess logistically it has to. So I'm very interested to see just how we go from 8 to final 3 and then final tribal in 4 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we start talking about what we actually think could happen, I'd love to hear from you, Useless. What did you think about the previous 3 episodes? It was pretty much like the pre-merge, but then the merge week as well. What did you think of all of it?
Yeah, I think it was good. I think it basically planned out how I thought it was going to be, where 4 people go pre-merge. Once the merge happens, there's not that little like mergatory thing. It's just once the merge is there, you voted out, you're on the jury, which probably means 7 people on the jury, 3 people at the final. But I'm just thinking that with the way the Australians have handled this merge, it has completely thrown out any idea that this season was ever going to be an alliance-based season. It's been completely fluid. And I know there's been a bit of backlash from more the Aussie side, because obviously 7 Australians, you would think they would have an advantage over the others who are kind of a bit more fractured. But I think we saw from day one that the Aussies were never playing Aussie strong. I mean, I feel like that's like any alliance in the modern era, they say that you can't really be tribe strong to win this game.
Yeah. Well, Australian Survivor memes, something that I often critique heroes versus villains for, the American one, is that everyone says it's such a great season because I went into that season not really knowing who anyone really was. Was that it is very much the villains tribe stay together and they pick off the heroes. And yeah, they might make small moves within each other, but ultimately it is villain strong right all the way through.
Hmm.
Did you think that maybe something similar like that was going to happen with this merge? Like maybe the Aussies, yeah, they're a bit fractured, but they find a way to stay together moving forward, or I guess same by the world.
I would have thought more so, I guess, on Heroes versus Villains, but also Heroes versus Villains was 20 seasons ago, no, almost 30 seasons ago. The game's obviously developed a hell of a lot more since then. From memory, I don't think there was even a tribe swap. But it runs into the same scenario as the current situation where people have played together, people know each other. There's a bit of like, there was like, I don't know, Golden God and Parvati were most likely going to be in some sort of alliance once we got to merge. I think it's just an evolution of the game that tribe strong doesn't actually mean anything anymore. Something that I found interesting as well from the season is Rob in episode 1, who was harping on about like we need to beat the Aussies, and ironically, they unified against him, but also then it wasn't even a strong an Aussie strong alliance coming into the merge. So I think it could be one of those instances where our perception is reality. So in theory, it would have made sense or might have been a good idea to keep Aussie strong because we've got that connection, we've got that familiarity with each other, whatever it is. But I guess it's just the nature of the game is that especially once you get to merge, it's all about you. You're not there to win it for Australia. You could win it as an Australian, but you're not winning it for Australia.
Yeah. Well, Useless, I'd like to hear from you because we had two Aussies go out who are both one-time players in Kirby and Sarah. And I guess we'll start with Sarah. You know, it's been 8 years since she last played Survivor. She comes in representing Australia, gets sniped out at Merge. Where does she sort of sit now in the player rankings? Obviously, she was seen as someone who's one of the greatest to never come back and play a second time. Has her legacy changed in your eyes through how she went out in the season?
Well, I think the biggest strength for her is she did actually stick to her guns, and even though Kirby got her in the end, so in hindsight, she picked the wrong alliance, but she was less wishy-washy. She was less manipulator and really was a ride and die kind of player. So I think voting wise, she was very similar. Like she only voted wrong once, which was when she got voted out. And she won a couple challenges. She won a fire making challenge against Cerie, Cerie's made the final four where she had to use fire to make it, which she obviously lost. So it's not like Cerie has never done a fire making challenge before. So I think it adds a little bit to her legacy, even if it's just a bucket list item. I beat Cerie at a fire making challenge to save the tribe. Obviously, she won individual immunity as well. But legacy wise, I think she falls into like a lot of those like mid-level all-star players, like your Jackies and your Zacks, and then even like someone like a Sam Webb, where he didn't really dominate either of his seasons. He was kind of there. So I think she'll probably be remembered kind of like that, and I'm not sure if she'll ever come back for a third time. So yeah, very, very mid-tier as an overall player. But I mean, hey, just getting on a season like this is an achievement in itself.
Well, I actually do kind of disagree with you there a wee bit. I actually felt like she was more wishy-washy this season than she was in season 2. And my reason being for that was so she voted out David, but even up until Tribal, you could tell that she actually didn't know who she potentially like wanted out. Did she want George out? Did she want Janine out? Did she want, David to go? And even after she took out David, you could kind of tell she heavily regretted it the rest of
I
her
don't
time.
think I don't think that made her wishy-washy. I think she was fighting her urges to be wishy-washy by sticking with Kirby. And this is one of the things that she could have had this conversation on day 1 or day 5. We don't know. We're talking about getting rid of Kirby. Like, that's how these edits go. And with the whispers, they didn't even go to tribal council with her targeting Kirby. So she may have said Kirby's name, and that's what you'll get to know in these all-star seasons. You can't even mutter a name, and it was so frustrating in the first 2-3 episodes because no one would say names, and it was the classic, everyone knows you can't say a name. You can't be the one that says the name first, which makes for a little bit of frustrating TV. But once a name gets said, like even Cass didn't even say a name, and a little whisper from Janine to Parvati, and all of a sudden they're after Cass. So it's that much of an intense game this time round that I think it may seem wishy-washy in the edit, but and she's obviously got her own battles to deal with, and again she comes out on the wrong side of it. But again, that's all in hindsight. If she picks to go with David and Janine, she might still be in the game, but no one's remembering Sarah to leak
Yeah.
this season.
Well, Survivor memes. How about Kirby? To me, she was one of the biggest stars in this season. You know, did she play herself to the bottom? Pretty much, yeah. But I kind of feel like Kirby, as a player, her legacy has escalated a lot from the season. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the way she was taken out, like the episodes leading up to her boot were she'd basically got rid of the Golden God and George, or been involved with getting rid of them. She then got to merge and realized for her game, she had options. She could have gone Aussie Strong, or she could have taken, like, basically looked at Parvati, for example, looked at the World Alliance to see what they were offering. I think she genuinely wanted to play with the best. Like, I think that's just her mindset, is that she doesn't want to play Survivor to take it to the end. So I think she genuinely, that was part of her strategy, was she wanted to get to the end of Parvati. But I think that's what ended up shooting her in the foot, was that instead of Parvati thinking, well, I'm a 5-time veteran or whatever she is now.
Yeah.
I've got all the legacy behind me. Like, if Parvati got to the end with Kirby, I'd be curious. I would hope Kirby would win, but I would be very surprised if she did. But I think because she did that, and I think it might have, it's also, I guess, the Survivor paranoia kicking in. Parvati might have thought, oh, she must be amazing if she thinks she can take me on at the finals. And then it's like, well, hang on a sec. Like, I don't want to be sitting with someone who's just as good, if not better, than me at the finals. So I think, yeah, she got herself, she grew her own target, and I think she's going to be, it's going to be just adding to a legacy of one of the greatest Australian Survivor social and strategic players, and she's also pretty decent in challenges. So I think, yeah, I'll say she's definitely a lock for future seasons. So yeah. And I think also the fact that the tribe was named after her suggestion, it's just, again, adding to her resume of what is going to become what we think of Kirby, the Survivor player, in the future.
Yeah. And just one last thing before we start moving on for the rest of the week. Tony's shoe big move. Did it live up to the hype?
It lived exactly up to the hype of Shu's big move. A lot of hype and not a lot of results.
Which would you say was more entertaining, Sue's big move or Shu's big move?
Well, Tony's got a lot more charisma. I think because it's such a short season, it didn't get the hype that Sue got during season 1, where it felt like it was practically like up on the billboards in the city. Like, everyone's waiting for Sue's big move. This one was a bit of a flash in the pan, but I would definitely choose. I think I would choose Sue's big move over Tony's Shu's big move anytime.
Fair enough. Well, Useless, let's get right on into it. Apparently tonight is the big power play, the big move. It's up there with one of the greatest tribal councils of all time. You feeling excited? Like, you feel like it's actually going to live up to it, or do you reckon it's going to be a bit of a swing and a miss?
I am very nervous. My biggest fear is this might be a double elimination where it gets too much, someone quits, and then they still vote someone out. And I don't want anyone to quit, but it seems like, well, why is Tommy not getting an edit? Why is Cass not getting an edit? Even someone like Lisa, like I know Lisa's a super fan, but she has seemed very overwhelmed at times, and they've kind of made her into a meme. Like, and I don't want to call it edit bullying, but they kind of do this a little bit in these shows where they'll see someone get hit in the face with a stick, or they'll be in the corner, and I feel like they've done that with Lisa this season, where she's like burping in a challenge, or she's just kind of wobbling around because she's not one of these great athletes. So I really hope Lisa is not an edit because she quits or whatever. Like, I think if she can get through this as a strong, like, whatever goes down and she gets through it, and then this is her Christy Bennett moment where she goes, all right, I got to start playing. This is not a holiday kind of thing. So that's what I'm hoping we get from it. Like, maybe it's Tommy or Cass or like Cass's idol gets stolen and she gets voted out with her own idol. That would be amazing from gameplay. Obviously, I love Cass as well. I don't want her to go this early, but it does seem I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat, nervous.
Yeah.
Because I'm scared.
Yeah. Well, Survivor Moon's like I don't think anyone's gonna quit, you know. These are like the best players representing your country. Like, can you imagine if like you chose to quit, you go in on a season like this? Like, the backlash would be pretty insane. But like what sort of theories going into this episode?
I think this could be a double elimination. That could be the like the big insane crazy thing that happens. Like, we could see someone voted out and then straight away JLP's like, can we just do that again? Like, we're gonna vote out someone else, sort of thing. Which I think could work on a season like this, because every vote, I feel, has kind of reset the deck, or shuffled the deck. So if you pull off a blind side in vote 1 and then straight away you have to do vote 2, it's like, oh shit, well, hang on, everyone's got their own next step from here, and there's no time to kind of like discuss it and to smooth out the plans and basically get on board. So I reckon that could be what we see, given that I think we're going to be seeing either double eliminations or multiple eliminations per episode for a couple at least. That's kind of like my theory. And you?
Yeah, no, I definitely do agree. It's going to be some kind of like double elimination, right? I can maybe see the first vote, maybe it is just World versus Aussie or something like that. And then with the announcement of like the second elimination, maybe that causes everyone to go into a panic. We've seen on the next time on that Tommy, he's ready to swing pretty big. There's like at least a fracture between Parvati and the World. So I can maybe see the World maybe trying to take a shot at Parvati here. We do have a comment here from Chris saying, hey guys, just joined the stream. Could it maybe be like a fake quit scenario where someone tries to get all the votes on them, then play an idol? I mean, like, Eustace, we did see a little bit of something in the next time on of Parvati's wearing her idol at Tribal Council, threatening to play for either her or Suri. Do you think a move like that like can work on the world stage, or do things just so obvious just dump the votes on her?
Well, at this stage, they could still do a 3-3 split if it's that obvious. But I think Parvati's going to do something to get someone like Luke or Cass to pull their idol out. I think she's going to do this whole public idol thing and said, I'm safe. No one else is safe. We're coming for you. You're going to get stray votes. And then, like, it might feed into Luke's ego of he pulls out his idol, and then all of a sudden Parvati can steal that idol, play it both for her and Sari. And remember, she's got to steal the idol before the vote. So then, if those two both have idols, it goes into the Haley realm of we've both got idols, but we're not going to play them because you can't put votes on us. That gives us the power. So then those 6 then have to choose someone to vote out, and then Parvati and Suri end up playing 0 idols. No votes get split on them, and then someone who was probably not supposed to go goes. So there is that element of showmanship that actually works in the favor of the person with the knowledge is power. And
Yeah.
we did see Tommy say, like, Parvati has all the advantages, which means they probably know that she's got two. So I think when that comes out, it might be a thing, and it might even be like Tommy's going, I'm going to sacrifice my game. We're going to put the votes on them so they have to play the idols. And if they don't, they are going home. And he doesn't care if the votes get loaded up on him.
Yeah.
He's willing to take that, take the bullet for the rest of the game, so that Suri and Parvati have to play the idols. Because if someone goes and they keep the idols, then yeah, it just keeps on giving them power and almost an automatic final five situation for those two.
Yeah. Well,
Funny you
Survivor
say
memes.
that. I literally, I was messaging Shan. She did the marathon today. I did the half, so we were, just talking about running. And then it got onto Survivor, and I literally said, I think Parvati's the target tonight, and because she's got so much power, literally in the form of advantages. Someone, and I did say as well, someone from the World Tribe could be defecting and and then they basically get voted out the game because they went on the offensive. And that's also going back to what we were saying before. Like, this isn't a game of alliances, so they might have had an alliance that worked for the first couple of votes, and even then, I use that word loosely because it wasn't really the world strong against Rob and then the world strong against Tony. It's like everyone had conflicting motivations, but it somehow lined up for those two votes. So yeah, I think that is a very realistic scenario where Parvati uses her advantages in such a way that we might not have ever seen before. Like, for example, like what you're saying, Useless, to try tempt people to expose their idols, or instead of using knowledge as power as this big secretive thing, she might also somehow publicly use that as a threat against people, or it's definitely going to be something that's just going to throw a spanner in the works. If it's something like that, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, well, Survivor memes, I'd love to hear from you. Who's the most in danger tonight?
That's a hard question, because how do you define in danger? Is someone in danger if they're a big target, or is someone in danger because they're going to be collateral damage in the war between two big players? I've been saying the whole time, every single episode, Shawnee's going. It's not happened yet, so I think I should maybe change from that point of view.
So Shawnee's going.
I do think it's pretty much It's now it'll happen. I think it's going to be one of the world three remaining, the non-Americans. I think one of them are going to try to lead a charge against Parvati and or Suri. And I think it's going to, they're going to basically become the victim of their own, aggression.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had this feeling for a while that I feel like Luke's in a lot of trouble as well. Like, the fact that he hasn't even been realistically targeted yet, I think is mind blowing. You go, I mean, he's actively trying to rally everyone against Parvati and Suri, and maybe it's because he hasn't played in a while. Maybe no one thinks of him as a huge name like a George or a David. But yeah, I always get a weird feeling that maybe tonight's his night, but he finds a way to skate on through. I do think someone like a Janine could be targeted as well, especially after spiking her head up to take out Kirby. Maybe Suri could relay the information to Parvati, maybe to the world. They're like, hey guys, we've got to be careful with Janine. She's the one that really rallied everyone against Kirby. But how about you, Useless? Who do you think's in the hot seat for
Well,
tonight?
I know a lot of super fans don't think anything of immunities, but tonight is the night when everything's going on. You want the immunity necklace. If it just makes, and as we've known in the past, you get the immunity necklace and you can play a bit more bolder because you have it, whether or not that gets you in trouble later on in the game. But yeah, whoever has the immunity necklace this episode, I think it's going to have tremendous power on who else will go.
Yeah.
As you say, like Janine, if she has the necklace, you would think that then Luke gets targeted because they're the power couple. If any of Parvati or Sari, I don't think obviously they're going to win it because of the promo. But yeah, even if it's someone like Lisa, maybe Lisa gets the necklace. This is her move to make, and then there's a huge scramble because they don't know what's going to happen because Lisa's like stuck in the middle. But yeah, I think this is going to be it's going to be a bit of a Russian roulette who goes home kind of thing. I don't think no one's safe, and except for the person that has the individual necklace or after the idol has been played itself.
Yeah. Well, what do we all think Cassandra's advantages? She won a advantage like when she won the challenge. Do you guys have any theories on what that could potentially be?
Well, I
Whatever
reckon
it is, it's something, and I've been saying this on repeat, I feel, for the last couple of weeks. Any twist that they do in Australian Survivor, or any advantage like a scroll, for example, it's never the same thing. So if we've seen it before, it's not going to happen. Like, we're not going to see another Raymond type of advantage, or where you had to pretend like they had to actually get all the votes on him for the advantage to be almost like an idol. So I have no idea what it is, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be something we've never seen on Australian Survivor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't fully agree with that. I think it might be a bit different, but it will be something similar. Like, I think it's going to be either an advantage in the next immunity challenge, or it'll be something very similar to its information about the next tribal council. Like, she might get told it's going to be a double elimination. Or it's, yeah, I think it's going to have to do with something like a more, rather than an advantage, like a physical advantage, like extra vote idol. I think it's going to be an advantage in form of information. It might even be, because they said it's to use for the following day, it might even be that it's like a dominoes challenge and she gets to practice setting up dominoes for half an hour or something. It might even be just like it's like a secret reward, or yeah, but I don't think it's going to be like a physical advantage.
I agree. I think that could actually be it. I think it could be specifically for the upcoming tribal, and some sort of information. So yeah, it could be like, at this tribal there's going to be a fire making challenge, or at this tribal it's going to be a double elimination, and she can then use that to kind of I guess to her advantage. Like, if she knows it's going to be a fire making challenge, then like the two most votes will get it. Then they can obviously pivot their plan to, I don't know, get a fire to avoid Sari making fire, for example, if they want to save her role. So I think it could be something like that. But
yeah. Something I just thought about. Do we reckon, because I know that they've done this for non-elimination episodes, but do you reckon instead of it being two separate votes, if it's just the two players with the highest number of votes?
Oh, making my hair fall out thinking of that. I hate it when they do that, because it's like it basically gives power to the minority, which I'm not saying that should never happen in the game of Survivor, but you shouldn't be rewarded for not having numbers. And we've seen it with like where it's like a tribe swap where the two bottom players then get, but then it's just the bottom player. It's just the person on either side's alliance who they want out. So I would hate that to be the case, unless it's something like everyone that gets votes in the urn, then they have to do a challenge, and then the people that finish last in that challenge then go home. Again, this is going to be this is the long episode tonight, so if there is going to be a double elimination this week, it will be tonight, I feel. But yeah, I mean, we can. I know this is kind of like what we do here is speculate what's going to happen, but it's been such an unpredictable season that it's making our jobs very hard at the moment.
Yeah. Well, Survivor memes. Any, I guess, like final thoughts? Like, actually, just before final thoughts, who do you think is the safest like heading into the week? Like if you had to pick one person who you're like, I can see them surviving to end of the week, who do you think it will be?
Given that she's got all the advantages, I'm gonna have to say Parvati. Yeah, I don't see how anyone else is gonna really make it through. Given that it's so hard to fly under the radar. Yeah, as soon as you asked the question, my gut said Lisa, but then I was like, no, it's because she'd be under the radar, or Tommy. But it's yeah, I don't think we're at that point of the season where you can fly under the radar. I think everyone has a legitimate target on them, and I think Parvati, given her bag of tricks is full, I think she's the safest for the next couple of votes at least.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because my pick is actually Lisa, and it's like, while I think it's hard to fly under the radar, I kind of feel like she actually is, because how I sort of see like the world tribe, like currently she's got like Cassandra and Tommy, they're obviously a 3, and like Suri is very well integrated with that. Like they're going along with Suri, but I feel like Lisa's the one making those calls. I think like Cass and Parvati see each other as huge threats because obviously they're the ones like winning all of the challenges. Plus Cass has an idol. I think Tommy, he might feel like he's just along the bottom because maybe like Parvati and Suri don't really give him too much time or too much credit for anything. So yeah, I think Lisa's probably in the best spot where she's not really a vocal player, but I feel like she's almost like the whisperer, similar to Kaylin, where she says something to Miles, she says something to AJ. Well, I guess like Suri or Cass or Tommy, and they are the ones sprinting around causing the drama, trying to like really like flip and flop everything. But she sort of hangs back, and while she may not necessarily get the credit for the moves, I think it's like definitely protecting her going into a long game. But how about you, Useless? Who do you think is the safest?
I'm actually going very rogue, and I'm saying Luke because of something that I was thinking earlier in the video. I think he is going back to episode 1. He's a power bottom. He's out there, but he has no real power, and he's actually very easily controlled by the likes of Janine or even Shawnee. Like he's one of those ones, he makes quick impulsive moves, and yeah, he's never actually voted for the person that's gone home. You could say that he was splitting the votes with Janine, but he's never actually written down the person that's torch has been snuffed that night. So I think he will kind of be seen as one of those things where I genuinely thought, like, if he was to play again, he's one of those players, he just needs to get to the end to win. But I feel like because of this is not a story run season, that him having like a good family story at home, that won't be enough for him to get the win. He's going to have to play better gameplay, and I think a lot of people are already starting to think, who am I taking to the final, who's in the final 3? And I think Luke's probably in about at least 5 of the 8 people that are remaining. I think Luke is in that. I want to take Luke to the end. So that's why I think he's the safest, because he's the least dangerous to other people's games.
Which, what a crazy thing to think that Luke is the least dangerous player on on a Survivor season, right? He's seen as one of Australia's greatest, and I do agree. He doesn't really have a lot of like power or control. He does have an idol, which I think if he can finally start winning some challenges and play the idol correctly. I mean, I don't know, with a season like this, Useless, I'd love to hear from you. Do you think even just making it to the end, like, it doesn't really matter what moves you make, as long as you actually get to the end, that will be on a lot of people's
and I think it is one of those ones where I don't think Luke's a great speaker as well, which you need at the final tribal council. And with the people that we have left in this game, I think they can really twist Luke's words. And I'm not, and again, I don't know because he hasn't gotten to the final before in Australian Survivor, but I think he's one of those ones that he could, like Jericho had played a really great game in 2017, and he nearly fumbled against, unfortunately, one of the least great players to make it to the end, where Tara got 3 votes and Jericho had such a good game, but it's just because he couldn't emphasize that. And unless Luke's going against someone like Cass, which I know it sounds weird, but because English isn't her first language, she might struggle to, get across what she did in the game, and she might be one of those players that gets flustered pretty easily when the hammer is down. But I just don't think Luke's going to be a great speaker at the end if he gets to the end. And I
Yeah.
think that's in a lot of people's minds. I think Janine, Shawnee, someone like Lisa's probably thinking that. I don't think Parvati wants to go to or has thought about taking Luke to the end, but it's someone that Parvati would eat up. And obviously Cerie's the same. So they're the 5 people that at least probably would take or would be happy if Luke never leaves the game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just on that point as well, like speaking English. Let's see, now I can't speak English. With English not being a first language,
Yeah.
that's like another variable in this game that we're not that we've never seen before. But also, yeah, look, I mean, listen to our podcast. Like half the time, are we even speaking like English, and we're not under pressure
No.
we don't have
Yeah.
10 sets of eyeballs looking at us and putting pressure on us. And like, it's so let alone being tired and being hungry, and then you're basically being crucified live. And it's like, you can't actually do anything about it. It's not like you can just switch off the laptop and like delete the mean comments. It's like, you have to deal with it in real time and somehow convince these people, like convince these, like, I guess, trolls, for lack of a better word, to vote for. It's very you have to be like an amazing speaker. And I agree, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. I think Luke is probably one of the worst, if not the worst one remaining in the game to have like a good final jury sort of speech.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, right? Because I'd love for Luke to win. In case if you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of Luke. I'm not really sure what's potentially given that away already, but Useless, any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
I think it's one of those ones where I think we've just got to enjoy this season as it happens. A lot of the comments I've been reading is, oh, this season hasn't been fair because of the 4-3 split on both tribes gender wise, or it's too short of a season, or this, that, the other. I think we should just take this season for what it is, as a celebration of the Australian Survivor World coming international, and it's giving other players like a platform. So I think my final thoughts is, no matter what happens tonight, and I know obviously there's been a lot of backlash with JLP leaving, he's got 4 episodes left of him being the host of Australian Survivor on Channel 10.
Yeah.
I think we've just got to savor these moments and just really enjoy finals week.
Yeah, which my thing on the whole 4-3 split, right, was like, that wasn't the reason why David and George went out super early, right? They went out because David is clearly the number 1 threat in the game. And if George doesn't piss off Luke and Janine and throw Kirby under the bus, he probably makes it, a wee bit further as well. It's the actions of the players. I think Tony's probably the only one where it's like, yeah, he was stuffed. You know what I mean? He's either the first one voted out of the tribe or the second. There's no way he's actually making it a step further, if that makes sense. But I feel like even with Rob, like he just came off way too strong trying to pressure like the World Tribe into taking out like Parvati and Cirie, which Lisa clearly didn't want to take out Cirie, but that was the name Rob was pushing quite a bit. And so was that really, oh my gosh, let's all stick together, girls? Was that more so like, we just don't really want to work with Rob in the game? So I don't think there has been like a huge thing, the gender divide, but yeah, I do agree with you, Useless. It's been such a phenomenal season. Every episode has been, I would say 10 out of 10. Even the Tony boot, we may not have been the most exciting, unpredictable move ever of all time. It's still like a solid 8 or a solid 9. We've got so many great character moments, so many funny moments as well. And yeah, I'm really loving the season as a whole. How about you, Survivor Memes? Any sort of final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with all the sentiments. This has been a great, fun season to watch. The gameplay has been insanely fast, and given that we've got we've got 4 days left to get 5 people eliminated in final tribal in 4 days, it's going to be even faster and more insane. It's been a great sort of season to get Australian Survivor on the world map. So if we were to get one of these every few years, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, me too. But anyways, that brings us to the end of our podcast. Useless, where can people find you? Like, I don't even know where to find you. So, where can people find you, bro?
No, not on the map. No. So on Instagram.
Where's Adelaide?
Yeah, I don't even know. In all the war movies or like world war movies where the world gets taken over, Adelaide's always safe. It never gets that far down. So,
Yeah.
apocalypse, move to Adelaide. But no, you can find me on Instagram at Useless Australian Survivor Facts, and I've been posting on TikTok under Australian Survivor Facts. Unfortunately, the useless, it was too long to fit in TikTok with
Oh.
the short attention spans of people that they can't handle a username that long.
How about you, Survivors? Where can people find you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I also do cheeky naughty time. No, that's your bit.
That's my slogan. Yeah.
Instagram and Australian and Facebook. Just look up Australian Survivor memes, and you'll find me and my 3 out of 10 bangers.
Yeah. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you follow our Instagram at Mucky Hope Productions. I uploaded a recent great reel. I actually bring it up real quick. Just give me one hot second. It's a teaser for the new season of Survivor, the Rivals and Redemption season, and it is between Australian Survivor memes and a trolley. So let me quickly bring that up for you all.
Right, Survivor Miniature Challenge. Try and drive a trolley. There we go. Oh my gosh. Australian Survivor memes here for the win.
That was very difficult.
Yeah, a little bit too.
I'm gonna go practice.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, that does look like a real challenge that would happen in Australian Survivor, where they put the wheelbarrow together and then the wheel falls off, and then just because for some reason Australian Survivor doesn't have any rules, someone just picks up the wheelbarrow and just chucks it over the log, and they say, "Yeah, that's fair game."
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like with Mark, how he just like smashes open the lock just because why not, And yeah, no, but I mean, a little bit of a spoiler for the next season as well. Brendan is carrying the tribe on his back. Yeah, he carries his rival
I'm disposing of my rival.
At least he put the trolley back. I feel like that's a judge of good character. He didn't just leave it behind the back of a car that has parked outside the lines.
Yeah, and if you are a good character, just like Survivor memes, make sure you subscribe for some cheeky naughty times. I haven't really been up to that much stuff since. I actually know I have. I did something very cheeky. I did a board game tonight with Eileen and some of her close friends. We played the Catan game. Never heard of it. Never played it before. I showed up. I did it, and I won because, strategic mastermind, absolute game changer. Yeah, I dominated that game from start to finish. So that's the only cheeky thing that I've done. It's apparently Eileen's favorite game. And
is it because you had the most wood? Is that how you won? You had the most wood?
No, it was I had the longest road. I had the longest road, that was one.
Longest road made of wood. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then pretty much what happened was Eileen was guaranteed to win with a turn, right? But then the guy just before her was like, "Hey Mucky, how badly do you really want to win?" And I was like, "I want to win." So he pretty much just gave me enough cards to build another city because I was on 12 points. And yeah, that's how I won. And
the collaboration. Oh
yeah, I know. Which is funny because I was going against him and trying to work with Eileen, but that didn't work. And he's the one that actually saved me at the end of the day.
Who is this pot stirrer? I feel like he should be on the next season of Survivor.
He really should. He's actually such a great guy. But one final thing here from Jenny. Hey guys, just joined the stream. Again, double elimination tonight or Monday or finale of 5 people. We did roughly talk about it. We all reckon a double elimination, Jenny, which should be quite a exciting episode tonight. But yes, subscribe for Chicken Naughty Times. I've been your host, Mucky Hope. Kakatao no, everyone. and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Bye.